Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be talking about my psych degree, my experience studying psychology, whether or not I recommend you studying psychology in college, job prospects for once you graduate. So if you are interested in learning more about my experience studying psychology, definitely stick around and let's get right into it. So quick little background on me. I did graduate with a Bachelor's of Science in psychology back in 2017. Yeah, 2017. It seems like it was just yesterday, but then when I do the math, it was a few years ago, and I'm getting older, so that's besides the point. But yeah, I didn't start college enrolled in a psych program. I actually started school enrolled in a biochem forensics program, and my goal with that degree was to become a forensic scientist. But quickly in my first year, I realized that I hated chemistry and I wanted nothing to do with chem. So I switched over to psychology my sophomore year of college. I make it sound like it was so easy, like I just came across psychology and I knew right then and there that it was what I wanted, but it didn't happen like that. My freshman year of college was very stressful because I felt so lost. All through high school, I thought I wanted to become a forensic scientist, and that was my goal, my dream. The program that I enrolled in my college was actually very hard to get into, so I worked my butt off to get into that program. And then I realized that it wasn't for me. So I started researching forensic careers that didn't have to involve me in a lab 24/7. And I came across forensic psychology, and I realized that I could get a degree in psychology and then go to grad school and become a forensic psychologist. My goal with that was to end up working in the FBI as a profiler. But life happens and I lost my passion for forensic psychology, and I decided that once I graduated, I did not want to go into grad school for a lot of different reasons. I won't get into too much regarding that in this video, but if you are interested, I can film a whole video on why I decided not to go to grad school. But even though I decided not to go to grad school, I don't regret getting my degree in psychology. I am so happy I decided to study psych in college, and if I were to do it all over again, I would have picked psychology from freshman year because it's something that I'm very passionate about. What will you gain from a psych degree? If you study psychology in college, you will gain so much knowledge that even if you don't pursue psychology as a career, you can literally adapt it and input it in any career of your choosing. The skills that you learn while studying psychology are so essential for everyday life. Number one, a better understanding of other people. You'll become more empathetic to people's problems, or you'll be less quick to judge a person based on their actions. You'll honestly want to take a minute to really understand where they're coming from, to understand why they do the things they do. You will also become more analytical in literally every aspect of your life. I don't know if it's because I have always been an overthinker, but studying psychology has made me even more of an overthinker because I really take the time to analyze every situation, everything that I see. I know that when people see something online, they are so quick to assume that what they see is fact, and they don't really allow themselves to open up their eyes to maybe another version of the story or another version of the facts. And for me personally, I really take the time to analyze absolutely everything that I see, that I come across, and I don't make an opinion based on my emotions. I try my best, and I'm not perfect at doing this. Sometimes my emotions do get the best of me, but I do try my best to really take the time to gather all the facts before I come up with my own opinion. And I really think that studying psychology in college really helped me grow my critical thinking skills and just has helped me in so many different areas of my life. So I definitely think that if you study psychology, you are going to walk away with that, and you are just going to be a more analytical person. And speaking of becoming more analytical, you will also value statistics and research a lot more. So this kind of goes hand in hand with what I just mentioned about valuing facts. You will want to do more research. You will want to really pay attention to statistics. Although they did teach me in college that statistics can't be really trusted 100% of the time. So that's a whole different story, which we'll learn if you end up studying psychology. But just really appreciating research and appreciating the facts is one of the main things that I have walked away from my degree, along with just being able to empathize and have a better understanding of people's behavior. What are the job prospects once you graduate? I have honestly had great paying jobs since graduating. Granted, I did work full-time while studying psychology, so maybe that's why, but I do think that a psych degree can open so many different doors. And even if you study psychology in undergrad, that doesn't mean that you have to go to grad school to become a psychologist or a clinician. You can honestly apply it to so many different career avenues. You can apply it to law enforcement. Once you graduate with a psych degree, you can go into a accelerated nursing program, so you can become a psych nurse, you can become a teacher, you can go into HR, which is what I did. Literally, the sky is the limit with a psych degree. I feel like a lot of people stay awake from a psych degree because they are told that you have to go to grad school, you have to become a psychologist, and that is not the case. If you do want to go to grad school, then that's amazing. Definitely go to grad school. However, once you graduate with a psych degree and you decide to start working and you're staying within the mental health field, the pay isn't great. For example, let's say you graduate with an undergrad degree in psychology and you want to take a year or two off to get experience before you go into grad school. Let's say that you start working in a psych hospital. The pay for a mental health worker is going to suck. I'm just going to put it out there bluntly. I interned in a psych hospital and I saw how much mental health workers were getting paid. Mental health workers typically get paid $12 an hour or maybe less depending on the minimum wage. And being a mental health worker is not an easy job. It literally consumes your soul if you let it. So definitely keep that in mind. You are not going to make a lot of money your first years straight out of college. And honestly, I think that's with most degrees. You really don't make six figures straight out of undergrad. Is it hard? Absolutely. I think there is a huge misconception that because a lot of people study psychology that it's an easy degree, and it's actually not. It definitely takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You definitely have to commit 100% to it. You are going to have to take classes on different types of psychology like abnormal psych, family psych, statistics, research. There are so many different classes that are so time consuming because you have to learn about so many different mental health illnesses, so many different disorders. But if you love psychology, then you'll love every minute of that learning process because you have a passion for it. But if you don't have a passion for learning about people's behaviors, for learning why people tend to be the way they are, then psychology is definitely not for you and you are going to find it extremely boring. So you watched this video, you did a lot of research, and you are determined to study psychology in college. What should you do? So the number one thing that you should do is to make sure that the college you are attending is accredited. Sometimes schools lose their accreditation for whatever reason, so you definitely want to keep up to date and make sure that the college you attend is accredited. This is going to be essential if you want to go to grad school for psychology. My college, Suffolk University, was and is accredited, so if I end up wanting to go to grad school, I can. It's so hard to get into a PhD program or even a master's program if you are coming from a school that is not accredited. So definitely make sure that you have all that information before you enroll, and you can easily find a college or university's accreditation status right on their website. And while it's true that C's get degrees, if you want to go to grad school, make sure that you are getting A's and B's. Ideally, you should be getting A's because getting into a grad school program is so competitive. I used to hear that all the time among friends and among students, and they would be like, oh, well, whatever, I got a C, but it's fine. C's get degrees. And yes, C's get degrees, and I've never been asked from a employer to show them my report card from college or my grades from college. But in order to get into grad school, you will be sending them your transcripts. They will be checking your grades. So if you want to go to grad school, or if you're not even sure, just make sure that you get at least A's and B's and that you really put in the effort to learn the material. Also, I don't really understand why you go to college to get bad grades when you are paying a shitload of money to be there, or your parents are. And maybe it has to do with the fact that I paid for my tuition. I worked my butt off while attending college. Like, my family didn't pay for my schooling. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship that paid for the majority of my tuition, but I had friends that would just go to parties every single weekend and slack off during classes, and I was just like, do you not realize how much money you are wasting right now just to sit here to go to parties? Like, get your priorities straight. Attend parties. Obviously, you need to get that college life experience, but get your work done first and then have fun later. Private school versus a state school. I did go into a private school. Suffolk University in Boston is a private university, which private universities tend to be a lot more expensive than a state school. When I was attending Suffolk, I think tuition was like 40 grand a year. It might have gone a little bit up since then, but times that by 4, that's quite a lot of money. And again, luckily I did have a scholarship. I had a scholarship directly from the school based on my high school grades, so I'm so glad for that. So I didn't really have to pay a lot. I still ended up taking a few loans, but if you can't get a scholarship and you are paying for school out of pocket, go to state school. There's nothing wrong with going to a state school. I think that state schools tend to get a bad rap, but honestly, if I could do it all over again, I probably would have gone for 2 years at a community college and then maybe transferred to a private university or to a state school to save money, just because you don't want to graduate with a ton of debt. People don't talk about that as much as they should. Try to limit the amount of debt you accumulate while in college, because 6 months after graduation, you're going to have to start paying those loans regardless if you have a job or not. So definitely be aware of how much debt you're getting into while in school. So my next piece of advice can be applied to anyone. Try to find internships your sophomore and junior year of college. I think this is essential. I did internships while I was in college and I still worked full time, so it's definitely doable. You are going to be tired, but you are going to be so thankful for that later on. So definitely trying to find as many internships as you can. Try to get different levels of experience. Try different things, because you are going to increase your chances of getting a better salary if you have experience to back your degree up once you graduate. Overall, I am so happy that I decided to study psychology in college, and I don't regret it one bit. I definitely would recommend to anyone to study psychology if you are interested in people's behavior and mental health. You definitely go into psychology because you care about other people and you want to try to make this world a better place. You don't go into psychology to become rich. If you guys have any other questions that I didn't address in today's video, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer each and every one of you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my little community here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.